Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
There's nothing original here.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake. When she was younger.
Hi, Nanny. I got an English award.
100% a bully brat.
I think when I was 30, if I thought about 50, I thought that is an awful long way away. And I don't really need to think about it. And then I blinked and I'm 50. That's crazy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
She's absolutely ruthless.
This is Meghan's first trip to the snow. Dad took her up to Big Bear.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
That was her goal. Hashtag goal, to marry Prince Harry.
She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Royal biographer Tom Bower has once again stirred controversy with claims that have reportedly put Meghan Markle's legal team on high alert. Bower, known for his aggressive investigative style, has publicly questioned whether Meghan has been completely truthful about details of her past, including her age.
Meghan, she's a very, very deceitful person.
The perfect day to address a theory that many people out there have been speculating on, that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
According to him, the information he reviewed includes magazine archives, university records, and testimonies from people who knew her earlier in life. What makes these claims stand out, Bower argues, is that they rely on documented sources rather than rumors. Before diving into the controversy, it's important to understand who Tom Bower is. He's not a typical tabloid reporter. Over decades, he has built a reputation as a hard-hitting investigative biographer who has written books about powerful figures such as Robert Maxwell, Mohammed Al-Fayed, Simon Cowell, and Charles III. His books typically rely on extensive interviews and document reviews.
Is Megsy really lying about her age? Now, when you Google her, it says that she was born on the 4th of August 1981. And with today being her birthday, as of me recording this video, it's saying that she's 44 years old.
In 2022, he published the controversial biography, Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, which offered a highly critical portrait of Meghan and Prince Harry. One section of that book focused on Meghan's early life and Hollywood years, examining the timeline of her career and personal history. According to Bower, Meghan has always stated that she was born on August 4th, 1981.
Yeah, she had a very clear idea of where she wanted her path to take her,
which would place her age in her early 40s today. However, he claims he found references that suggest conflicting information in older records and media mentions. One example he highlighted involves a 1997 issue of 17 magazine that allegedly listed Meghan at an age that would not align with the 1981 birth year.
The metadata of the picture says that it was taken on May 8th, 2019. And he was born on May 6th, 2019. Can somebody please explain that to us?
Bauer argues that discrepancies like this raise questions about whether earlier publications made mistakes or whether details were later corrected or changed. Another point he raises involves early versions of Meghan's IMDb page, which reportedly listed a different birth year before being updated. Bauer suggests that age adjustments are not uncommon in Hollywood, where actors sometimes alter their stated age in order to qualify for certain roles or appeal to casting directors.
Meghan is a consummate survival actress. You raise this extraordinary beginning of the year when she carved 2025 in the sand. And it's a very, very interesting image that it came out on New Year's Day this year, because the previous weeks had been absolutely turgid and torrid for her. She had been dubbed Duchess Difficult again. There have been allegations.
However, none of these claims have been officially confirmed as evidence that Meghan misrepresented her age, and public records, including widely cited biographies and official royal sources, continue to list her birth date as August 4, 1981. Bauer has also looked at Meghan's time at Northwestern University, where she graduated in 2003 with a degree in theater and international studies.
Not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her stuff. We've caught her in so many lies. Her own sister has come forward, her family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling.
He claims that some people from that period remember the timeline differently, though these accounts remain anecdotal. Supporters of Meghan argue that inconsistencies in media archives, entertainment databases, or magazine articles are common and often result from simple editorial errors rather than deception.
August 4th, 40 years ago, Meghan was born, and she was born as a C-section, so she was put in my arm.
Critics, on the other hand, believe Bauer's research raises questions that deserve closer examination. As with many controversies surrounding Harry and Meghan, the debate has quickly spread online, with supporters and critics interpreting the same information in completely different ways.
What the hell is going on with this woman? Is she adopted or is she just a natural? I mean, is she such a liar she can't even understand that we can all see her?
And once again, the discussion around the Duchess of Sussex shows no signs of slowing down. There's a well-known photo from a Northwestern University salsa club event. Meghan appears in the back row, smiling alongside a group of other students. According to Tom Bauer, he contacted several people who appeared in that photo. When he asked them about their birth years, many reportedly said they were born in the early 1970s. Bauer argues that this raises questions about the timeline. Either Meghan, who publicly states she was born in 1981, was socializing mainly with students about 10 years older than her.
You're wondering, why does her age matter at all? Because her age would also have an impact on her ability to have children. Because if Meghan Markle is 4 years older than what we have been led to believe, it makes it even more difficult to believe that she was able to get pregnant so quickly. Never mind the hysterectomy stories that her family have told. But that would make it more difficult because that would make Meghan Markle near 50.
Or, as some critics suggest, there may be confusion about the timeline itself. One former classmate, speaking anonymously to Bauer, reportedly said that among some students it was believed Meghan might be older than she publicly claimed.
I believe she had a clear motive for writing family off because it would seemingly justify and perhaps delay the revelation of all of the lies that she had told the royal family.
However, these statements remain anecdotal and have not been independently verified. The story becomes more complicated when Bauer discusses Meghan's family. Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, has given many interviews since she married Prince Harry.
They've stupidly put out so many dumb lies, the car chase, etc., that now nobody believes anything they say. And that's scary and dangerous because it sometimes puts us off in directions that we need to be better about. But man, the more and more I look at and research this stuff, I'm not obsessed with these two. I'm looking at them with a very clear eye.
He has spoken publicly about her childhood and their family history. According to Bauer, when he asked Thomas Markle directly about Meghan's birth year while researching his book, Thomas reportedly did not immediately give a clear answer and instead suggested that the official records should be checked. Critics interpret this hesitation as suspicious, though others argue that interview recollections can be incomplete or taken out of context.
So what is going on here? Why this secrecy around this woman's birth certificate? Why the secrecy? Why the mistakes in age that are so blatant for others? And you know what? This is like her education in university, that she claims that she double major in international relations and theater, when Northwestern has never given a major in international relations.
Bauer also spoke with Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister. Samantha was born in 1964. Public records indicate there is about a 17-year age gap between the two sisters. However, Samantha reportedly told Bauer that she remembers their age difference feeling smaller when they were growing up.
Can't ignore them if they keep popping up doing stuff like this. That's the thing. We're kind of in a mutually abusive, toxic relationship, aren't we? The media and Harry and Meghan, because they keep doing stuff wanting attention. Then they get quite adverse reaction most of the time. Then they react really badly to the reaction. And so it goes on.
Well, what it really boils down to is the threat they offer. If the threat was punctured, which I hope my book will do.
Some observers say that could simply reflect family dynamics rather than an exact age difference. Bauer also examined Meghan's acting career timeline. If Meghan was born in 1981, she would have been about 25 when she appeared as a briefcase model on the TV game show Deal or No Deal in 2006.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
A typical age for contestants in similar roles. However, Bauer argues that Meghan's early acting career showed signs of the long struggle many aspiring actors face in Hollywood.
Well, that's her first wedding in Jamaica.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite pictures. I'd like to have that experience with my granddaughter.
During the early 2000s, she auditioned for small parts, background roles, and minor television appearances. Like many actors trying to establish themselves, she took a variety of small opportunities before eventually landing a breakthrough role. That breakthrough came in 2011 when she was cast as Rachel Zane in the legal drama Suits. Bauer suggests that the timing of her career could indicate she was older than publicly stated, though this claim remains disputed and is not supported by official records. Another point Bauer discusses involves the birth certificate of Prince Archie of Sussex.
But before she met Harry, you had no doubt she was your sister.
My little sister, though, I said.
Who was born in May 2019. The original certificate reportedly listed Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle. Later, the entry was updated so that her name appeared using her royal title, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. At the time, palace sources stated that the change was made following guidance from royal officials and was intended to align the document with formal royal naming conventions. Bauer interprets the change differently, suggesting it may reflect an effort to limit certain personal details in official documents.
She was my little sis. I would have loved to have had siblings. That's why I'm so excited to be pregnant, so that Archie has someone.
However, no official investigation has supported that theory. As with many topics involving Harry and Meghan, the debate remains deeply divided. Supporters say the claims rely heavily on speculation and anecdotal sources. Critics argue that Bauer's research raises questions worth discussing.
So I have to ask, is this woman crazy? Is she that much of a liar, or is there something deeper? Because just to give you another example, she claims that she was 13 years of age when she started to work for Humphrey Yogurt, in spite of the fact that Humphrey Yogurt has said that they have never employed anybody at age 13. Number two, she claims that when she started working at Humphrey Yogurt, she ran into Yasmin Bleeth, and that she congratulated Yasmin Bleeth for her deodorant commercial. Yasmin Bleeth didn't do that deodorant commercial until 1997.
What's clear is that stories about the couple continue to spark intense debate, and they rarely fade quietly. Those documents can often be cross-referenced with other records, school transcripts, passport applications, marriage documents, and other official paperwork.
Are you telling me that that commercial, which was so pivotal for Meghan Markle, she didn't even bother to watch so she can recount the story and say when I was 12 rather than when I was 11? Because the commercial is out in the public domain, and I will leave the link for you guys to go watch it. It was done when she was 12 years of age. So there is something that is not connected.
According to critics like Tom Bauer, that kind of paper trail is exactly what investigators look at when examining someone's background. Bauer argues that if different records listed conflicting birth years, it could raise questions about the accuracy of a person's public biography.
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
Oh, well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal Author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both.
However, no official evidence has been presented showing that Meghan Markle falsified her age on legal documents. When Bauer's book was released, reports suggested that Meghan's team strongly rejected the claims. According to sources quoted in media coverage, her legal representatives challenged some of the allegations and described them as inaccurate or misleading, but Bauer stood by his research, saying that his work relied on archived publications.
Really owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Oh, Archie doing a deep dive between the knees. Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities, and we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior.
Interviews with people who knew Meghan earlier in life and publicly available records. Instead of engaging publicly with every claim in the book, Meghan herself largely stayed silent. She did not hold press conferences or issue detailed responses addressing each point raised.
I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony. I love to make fun of her because she continues to give me so much material.
Professionally, they've gone down dramatically, and I predicted it in the book, but even I would not have thought it'd be that accelerated. I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's.
For Bauer and some critics, that silence raised more questions. Supporters of Meghan, however, argue that choosing not to respond to controversial claims is often the safest legal strategy when dealing with disputed allegations.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
The debate becomes even more complicated when speculation moves into legal territory. Some commentators have suggested that if someone knowingly provided false information on official legal documents, it could theoretically have legal consequences. But legal experts also emphasize that such claims would require clear evidence and formal investigation.
So many surprises, by the way, tucked away in your book. Everybody is already buzzing because you reveal that Simon is not a fan of Jennifer Lopez. I was not aware of this. You say he can't stand her. So set the record it straight for us, Tom. What's his beef with J-Lo?
Well, he just found her just too vain and too self-interested, which seems like he met his own match. But in the end, Simon doesn't really like many celebrities. I noticed when I went with him to the Oprah Winfrey Show and many other places around Hollywood and elsewhere, he's a rather shy guy. He's always afraid of being associated with people who are bigger than him or who might put him in the shade. But in the end, he's pretty critical of people. He doesn't like Elton John. He doesn't like many of the people who are really famous in the music business. You know, he's critical.
She was 12 years of age. So there is something that is not connecting. There is something that is not right. And I haven't been able to get a hold of a birth certificate, of a copy of her birth certificate. So if any of you can get it for me, please do so. So I started getting some emails from some of the subscribers, and they said, what if Meghan Markle was adopted? What if there more to her birth than just her age? Could it be that she doesn't know her own age because she's been lied to by her father and mother? Could it be that's why Doria doesn't have a bond with Meghan Markle? Because what mother leaves her daughter when she's 3 or 4 years? Okay, maybe she went to jail. Those are the rumors.
Neither of which has occurred regarding Meghan's birth date. Public records continue to list her birth date as August 4th, 1981, and that date is widely accepted by official sources. Bauer's book also discusses broader questions about Meghan's public image and biography.
And there are files about Doria Ragland. We know that in 1996, she was sued for eviction to get evicted from the place where she was living. And there's also a criminal file that nobody can access. So what is really the reality? Because how can nobody correct this woman? She went on Southwest and Texas on that stage with Katie Couric, and Katie Couric asked her, can you please tell us the story when you were 11 years old? I mean, everybody has seen that commercial. It clearly starts with, when I'm Meghan Markle, I'm 12 years old. So what is going on here? Why the secrecy around this woman's birth certificate?
She was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to firstly be seen with Harry, and secondly didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen. Yeah. And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem, financially and professionally. And I think that Harry has a problem because he's lost his charity centre Bailey in Africa. He's better up, and all these commercial deals are declining. I think that his reputation is somewhat toxic. And I think Invictus is his only lifeline. And there'll be problems with that too.
I mean, we've seen people leaving Invictus recently. Important, I think that's you mentioned the Disney special. Does the Disney special at all?
He argues that the story she presents about her life, her upbringing, career path, and relationship with the royal family reflects a carefully constructed narrative. Critics of Meghan believe this narrative sometimes conflicts with accounts from people who knew her earlier in life. Supporters counter that many public figures reshape their personal stories over time, and that selective storytelling is common in politics, entertainment, and royalty. One of the more controversial aspects of internet speculation involves rumors about Meghan's past relationships and alleged gaps in her timeline.
Professionally, they've gone down dramatically, and I predicted it in the book, but even I would not have thought it'd be that accelerated. I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here.
These claims circulate widely online, but remain unverified, and no credible evidence has confirmed them. Even Bauer himself did not present proof of such rumors, only noting that certain periods of Meghan's early life have received less public attention. At the end of his investigation, Bauer does not claim to definitively prove Meghan's age is different from official records. Instead, he presents what he considers inconsistencies and allows readers to draw their own conclusions. For critics, the questions raised by his research suggest that Meghan's public biography may not tell the full story. For supporters, the claims represent speculation built on incomplete information. What is clear is that the debate surrounding Harry and Meghan remains intense. Every new book, interview, or investigation reignites discussions about their past, their choices, and their place in public life. And until new verified information emerges, those arguments are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. If you've been following the ongoing debate around the Sussexes, the question remains the same. Are these claims meaningful revelations, or simply another chapter in the endless controversy surrounding one of the most talked about couples in the world? So is Meghan really 48, 50, maybe even 52? Tom Bauer has shown us the evidence doesn't match the story, and until Meghan releases her actual birth certificate, the questions won't stop. The truth always surfaces always. If you want more royal investigations like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just getting started.